African-American leaders say that the evidence is overwhelmingly clear that minority businesses face a huge disparity when it comes to public projects. Earl Jones, co-founder of the Greensboro Business League, says African-American taxpayers account for 35% of the city's taxes, but that black-owned businesses earn only 2% of the money that the city spends on public projects. He cites a city commission study as a source of the data.
We pay taxes. That tax money go to government, and that tax money come back out to the private sector and literally subsidize the white business sector, our African-American tax dollars.
Sandra Wright with the Greensboro NAACP says last year's study shows little improvement when compared to a similar study done 5 years ago, and concludes the only explanation is race.
So whether it's intentional or not, I can't say. The only thing that I can say for certain is that the data shows that we did not effectively implement the tool that we had to help to overcome that disparity.
The group says its goal is to challenge, educate, and litigate to ensure black economic empowerment. Mayor Nancy Vaughn says she's surprised by today's news conference, noting that the city recently agreed to spend more money and add more staff to its minority and women business program. In a statement, the mayor says, quote, "We recognize there has been a lack of minority and women business enterprise participation in city contracts. Last year, we hired Griffin and Strong to analyze our data and identify best practices. With their help and through meetings with community stakeholders, we developed a new program which council passed last month." The mayor adds that the city's plan is to implement a robust plan that is intentionally inclusive. In Greensboro, I'm Bill O'Neill, WXII 12 News.
All 23 people killed when tornadoes hit Alabama have been identified. One twister took 10 relatives from a family. The Joneses lost their grandparents, an uncle, and several cousins from the storm. The youngest victim was 6, the oldest was 89. The tornado was on the ground for a staggering 70 miles. President Donald Trump has approved an emergency declaration for this area. He's scheduled to tour this destruction in person on Friday.
And here at home, it is Severe Weather Preparedness Week, and this morning some students participated in a statewide tornado drill. Again, what you're about to see is only a drill.
The Winston-Salem, Forsyth County schools are under a tornado watch. This means conditions are favorable for the development of a tornado in the area.
Just a drill for that tornado warning. Students and staff at Sedge Garden Elementary took part in the statewide tornado drill. All week, our meteorologist will be highlighting tips for you to stay safe when severe weather strikes.
Governor Cooper has unveiled his 2-year spending plan for North Carolina. It includes a $3.9 billion bond referendum package, mostly for school renovations and teacher pay increases, $1.5 million for natural disaster preparations, along with Medicaid expansion and rural economic development. The budget would not raise taxes for people in North Carolina. Cooper couldn't fit everything in this budget, but he says he hopes a bipartisan budget can be negotiated with the GOP. GOP members of the Senate Budget Chair called the governor's proposal a terrible policy and said it would just add more debt. They specifically attacked his nearly $4 billion bond package, saying, quote, "Our children shouldn't have to pay for the new schools we plan to build for them."
Another person has thrown their name into the hat for this special election in the 9th Congressional District. Republican Matthew Ridenour announced his campaign this morning on Pat McCrory's radio show. He's a former Mecklenburg County Commissioner, and we do know that Democrat Dan McCready is also officially running. Party primaries are set for May 14th. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen says that there is a crisis at the southern U.S. border and it is not manufactured. She is asking lawmakers and calling on them to respond to what she calls a humanitarian catastrophe. Jennifer Johnson is on Capitol Hill as Nielsen speaks directly to Congress.
You God.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen in the hot seat before a House panel investigating President Trump's border policies. Nielsen repeatedly backed President Trump's national emergency declaration.
We are on track to encounter close to 1 million illegal aliens at our southern border this year. This is not a manufactured crisis. This is truly an emergency.
New Customs and Border Protection figures show more than 76,000 migrants crossed the southwest border last month, the highest in 12 years.
Make no mistake, this chain of human misery is getting worse.
Democrats blasted Nielsen for that misery, especially the treatment of minor children.
When you saw those pictures of babies in cages, what did you do? What did you do to just scream bloody murder up the chain to the president, to say, I cannot represent an agency that is forcing its border patrol to do this?
You have no feeling, no compassion, no empathy here.
But Nielsen defended the children's care and blamed their parents.
There was no parent who has been deported, to my knowledge, without multiple opportunities to take their children with them.
Nielsen sounding the alarm over a growing crisis as the Senate Judiciary Committee calls for an investigation of reports of sexual abuse of unaccompanied minors in U.S. custody. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
Breaking news at this hour, the family of the Page High School student athlete who was shot over the weekend just released a statement about their son.
Darnell and Tasha Davis say Sincere is critically ill. They write, quote, "We are very thankful for the prayers and well wishes directed to our son in this very difficult time. The show of support over the last few days, especially from his fellow students, has been especially heartwarming. The circumstances around that shooting have not been publicly released." In his first on-camera interview since newly charged with sexual offenses, R. Kelly lashes out at claims that he has been abusing underage girls.
Plus, what a local family is doing to keep a fallen officer's memory alive.
Well, we're still sitting below freezing out in Boone right now. We feel more like 19 degrees. The winds have continued even as far east into the Tri, making you feel a little colder today, too. We're going to have much more for you coming up as we take a look at your temperatures going overnight and what's in store for wintry mix possibilities. Right now in Winston-Salem, 42, feeling like 37.
Singer R. Kelly is lashing out today after being charged with several counts of sexual abuse against underage girls.
R. Kelly remains adamant that he did nothing wrong. Dan Sheneman explains.
They was describing Lucifer. I'm not Lucifer.
At times, his voice near cracking.
And the reason I'm emotional,
Robert,
and I apologize for that,
is
because this is the first time I was able to say
speak.
something.
Yeah.
I've said nothing.
At other times, angry.
I gave up 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me.
Three-time Grammy winner R. Kelly speaking out for the first time since his arrest in an interview on CBS this morning.
So they're lying on you. That's your explanation. They're lying on you.
Absolutely.
The interview coming 10 days after he was released on bail, charged with 10 counts of sexual abuse involving 4 women, 3 of them minors. More than a decade ago, Kelly was acquitted on child pornography charges. The recent docuseries on Lifetime called Surviving R. Kelly shed a new, bright spotlight on the accusations of misconduct that have swirled around the R&B star for years.
You're saying everything they said in that documentary about you is not true.
They are lying on me.
It's disturbing. It was emotionally disturbing for all of us.
Joycelyn Savage's family accuses the singer of controlling their estranged daughter and not allowing her to contact them in 2 years.
Everybody is not coming for R. Kelly. People are coming for justice.
R. Kelly remains steadfast in his innocence. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Let's give you a live look at traffic throughout the Piedmont Triad right now. This is a live look at US 52 North at Liberty Street in Winston-Salem. A little bit of slow going there on the southbound side, but overall no major delays to report. To the hardwood we go. It was a game expected to be a win for Duke. Yeah, for sure. Playing unranked Wake Forest at Cameron Indoor Stadium in Durham.
Yeah, but the Demon Deacons said not so fast. Duke star forward Zion Williamson still not playing. The 4th straight game he's been on the bench, and the Demon Deacons took advantage of that. It was a back-and-forth game. We fast forward to the final play. The Deacons with the ball down by 1 with 7 seconds remaining. Johnny Brown puts up a floater, but the ball didn't go in. Duke escapes with the win, 71-70, like by the hair of their chinny chin chins. They've got UNC in Chapel Hill on Saturday.
And speaking of that, we're going to have more later on. Yeah, for sure.
An Alamance County family is using their craftsmanship to remember a Triad fallen officer while also helping first responders in need.
Yeah, Greensboro officer Jared Franks died in November in a crash during a robbery investigation. Gordon Maker, who was good friends with Franks, wants to make sure that his memory lives on. So he created the Project 315 Customs in honor of Frank's badge number.
I just want them to know that there are everyday people that do support them and are behind them.
Gordon and his boys now make wooden flags and sell them. All proceeds will go to first responder families in need. It's a really nice project for sure.
Turning now to the forecast, we've got Michelle Kennedy with us, and man, it was not a nice night. A really rough morning out there, too.
Looks are deceiving, I will say that. Oh my goodness, it looked beautiful.
I know, the blue skies, but it was more of the winter blue sky, right? Not the spring-like sky that we've been getting used to, that cold air rushing in with the winds, too.
Very cold.
And even a little bit of snow for some up in northern sections of Patrick County. This is up near Meadows of Dan. They were up a little bit along the ridge at 2,800 feet, according to Darren Gardner. And thanks, Darren, for sending this to us. A little light dusting you can see on his backyard and his deck. So looking good now to see drier conditions overnight. We're cold, we're clear, we're down to 32 degrees as we go into late evening. So getting up there into those 30s today took a little while, but we're now in the 40s, eventually back down to near freezing around 9 and 10 o'clock tonight. And then still cold for folks in the mountains. Our wind chill values will be closer to the teens and single digits as we go into late tonight through early tomorrow morning. So be ready for that. You're at 42 in Greensboro, 30 right now, and Winston or in Galax feeling about 10 degrees cooler there thanks to those strong west-northwest winds. 37 for a feels like temperature in Greensboro, 35 in Asheboro. At least we're out of the 20s for those feels like conditions right now. Your wind chill values in Jefferson at 17, also in Boone. We're at 38 though in Elkin. So yeah, a little cooler with those winds to the east, but the sunshine feels so much better, especially when you're more wind protected out there. 44 in Jefferson for a high wind gust today as that front was rolling through overnight. And right now 22 miles an hour for gusts with 17 in North Wilkesboro. All right, here's what's happening. We look ahead now. We've got more sunshine to start your early Thursday morning and temperatures that'll be warmer tomorrow. So we'll work our way out of this cold blast. We'll see another front though approach, and this could bring in some moisture for us. So as we go into your overnight hours Thursday night into Friday morning, we bring in a chance of some wintry precipitation. It could mean some snow in the mountains early and through midday, and then some wintry mix, maybe even some sleet trying to work its way in south into Mount Airy, up into Stewart and areas of Martinsville. Be watching the track of that low and timing, of course, depending on the temperatures, because we do see a warm up happening. And as that front continues to approach, we'll see temperatures warmer even still on Saturday and Sunday as we have a bump in temps into the upper 50s. But so for a quick brief wintry mix to rain transition, we then bring on more rain into the weekend and a line of storms that may form along that cold front potentially into the weekend. But we've got mostly rain chances now, both Friday afternoon and for Sunday across the Triad. You'll dry out by Monday and will be a little bit more mild. 23 degrees overnight tonight with winds out of the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. You're 44 degrees at lunchtime tomorrow, 49 for an afternoon high, but we stack up the clouds. So the clouds start to stream in. They get thicker as the day goes on and continue into the evening hours. In Mount Airy, North Wilkesboro, out through Yadkinville, you're down to 32 by 9 a.m., but you're already down to 22. So this is a hard freeze for us tonight. You need the gloves and hats at least another morning. We've got you at 48 degrees for late afternoon highs. 18 degrees though in the mountains tomorrow morning. This is better than those low teens you had today, about 14 in Galax, and down in Ennis too, you got down to near single digits. Winds out of the west at 10 miles an hour with 29 going into the 9 o'clock hour. By lunchtime, you're at 35, near 40 around 3 o'clock. Now here's your 7-day forecast. You've got 49 degrees on Thursday, rain chances at 60%. Most of this is going to be a cold rain for the Triad. By Saturday, we're at 57, and those rain chances don't develop until late afternoon. We've got your daylight saving time happening into Sunday morning with 68 degrees, then 62 on Monday. Mostly sunny and windy, but more mild to kick off next week. Looking forward to the dry and sunny conditions, more spring-like weather returning.
Carcinogens found in some cosmetic products. What you need to do if your child has a certain brand of makeup.
And twins who were conjoined at birth are now returning home, separated. We'll have more on their journey next.
A warning for parents. You may want to take a closer look at the makeup your kids are wearing. The FDA found 3 of Klairs cosmetic products contain asbestos: eyeshadows, compact powder, and contour palettes. These items aren't on store shelves anymore, but they may still be inside your home. If they are, the FDA says you should throw them out.
Formerly conjoined twins and their mom are heading home to be reunited with their family. The twin girls were 15 months old when they arrived in Australia. They spent 5 months in the country before and after undergoing surgery to be separated. The girls were joined at the torso and shared a liver. The twins were separated after a 6-hour-long operation in November of last year.
We've got one that's very much more outgoing and one that's very placid. Nina's the outgoing and Darla's the more placid. But look, they're just developing into beautiful little girls. They're delightful in every way.
And while their mother is excited to be reunited with the family, she said she is really sad to be leaving everyone at the hospital.
A final act of service: how a firefighter is saving lives even after taking his last breath.
And later, innovation that excites and innovation that saves lives. How a watch potentially saved this woman's life.
You're watching WXII 12 News.
We haven't given up hope. We're still searching.
Keeping hope alive as the search for survivors ramps up. We're going to take you to Alabama, where people are recovering from deadly tornadoes.
2 Florida sisters admit to killing their father. What they did to make sure he stopped breathing.
And North Korea may be rebuilding one of its missile sites, with new images reveal about Kim Jong-un's regime.
Authorities have located all of the missing victims following this weekend's powerful EF4 tornado that claimed the lives of 23 people.
And now the emergency response is moving from search and rescue to recovery. Sarah Dolph explains how the area is preparing for more severe weather this weekend.
an outpouring of grief in Alabama.
Just that quick, my mom and dad and my brother were gone.
Cora Jones lost multiple relatives in the powerful EF4 tornado that ripped through the eastern part of the state, and now more severe weather is forecasted.
When somebody tell you a storm is coming, to do what they say, get out.
A second round of storms is poised to strike this coming weekend.
Most of the entire state is going to be under the significant risk.
On Wednesday, authorities announced all missing people have been located.
The situation now will move as it should to a recovery to assist all the individuals in this area in that effort as the weeks go forward.
And that the president has signed an emergency order to get badly needed funds to the area.
It's just tragic.
Alabama's governor was on the ground touring the damage left by the tornado that killed 23 people, the youngest just 6 years old. 2 companies have offered to cover funeral costs. Everyday citizens also pledging time and money.
They need us right now. This is going to be a long recovery process.
Acts of kindness to an area devastated by a powerful tornado and bracing for more potentially deadly weather. Sarah Dolph, NBC News.
Back here in the Triad, we have had plenty of sunshine. The problem is, Michelle, it's not doing much to warm us up.
Yeah, this has been a cold, sunny day, but we've got the winds. You know, that new air mass that blew through last night, dropping us down in the morning to single-digit below zero readings for folks in the mountains thanks to that wind. Blues Lake time-lapse showing you beautiful conditions, but you see the wind and the impact along the lake there. You can see that throughout the day. We've had the winds up and over Greensboro, too. Temperatures right now with the winds making you feel a little bit colder. Down to 37 for a feels like temperature. Once we hit that 40-degree mark, though, everything felt just that much better. The winds will start to drop off as we go overnight, but you can see that camera shaking there. Well, a ridge of high pressure continues to build in today. Our front is still to the north, a few clouds there. Look at your temperatures out there. 37 degrees in Greensboro for feels like temps now and 19 in Galax. So finally getting into the teens rather than the single digits that we were sitting in earlier for the mountains. However, as the sun sets, we still have wind chill concerns for folks in the mountains. Currently, you're sitting there at 30 degrees for actual readings, 42 in Greensboro, also Winston-Salem. Next batch of moisture is coming our way. As we look at this, it is moving in from the west-northwest, and this means Pacific moisture will reach us going into Thursday night and Friday morning. For now, though, we'll enjoy mostly clear skies, another hard freeze on the way. Wind chill values above the advisory level. We've got you to near 10 degrees around late this evening there in the mountains. 31 will feel more like the 20s. A reminder to bring your pets indoors, and warm winter gear needed all the way through tomorrow morning as we talk 20s and teens. Coming up in the next segment, I'll have more on your weekend and all the plans and events going on.
For the 4th day in less than 2 weeks, Michael Cohen testified on Capitol Hill behind closed doors. Democrats are looking to press the president's former attorney on everything from hush money payments to scrapped Trump Tower deal involving Russia. NBC's Blaine Alexander has us covered from Washington.
Michael Cohen back on Capitol Hill, the president's former attorney and fixer speaking again to the House Intelligence Committee. A source tells NBC News Cohen turned over new documents related to a scrapped Trump Tower project in Russia, the subject he lied about to Congress in 2017. House Democrats already have enough from Cohen to start digging, ramping up investigations based in part on his explosive public testimony last week, including details of hush money payments made during the campaign allegedly involving Allen Weisselberg, the chief financial officer of the Trump Organization.
I think we need more testimony from Weisselberg, from Donald Trump Jr., from Eric Trump, to really understand the type of financial fraud that was there.
Republicans say Cohen is an admitted liar, the White House dismissing Democrats' investigations as politically motivated.
They know what they're doing is absurd and outrageous.
And refusing to hand over documents requested by the House Oversight Committee related to the security clearance process for the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and daughter, Ivanka Trump, both West Wing advisors. That request coming after reports that the president ignored concerns from intelligence officials and ordered security clearances for his daughter and Kushner.
I am deeply concerned, in fact, outraged that the president is trampling on the norms.
The White House calling the request overly intrusive. And Congressman Elijah Cummings, the Democrat who launched that investigation into security clearances, says that the White House defies the constitutional separation of powers by refusing to turn over documents. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
New images appear to show North Korea rebuilding part of a missile factory. According to reports, work was underway at this satellite launch station in North Korea. This move comes despite President Trump's meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un last week. That summit broke down over differences on how far North Korea was willing to denuclearize. President Trump said this afternoon if the restoration is true, he'd be very disappointed.
In Florida, investigators say two sisters admitted to killing their dad because he refused to go to an assisted living facility. Mary Beth Tomaselli and Linda Roberts were arrested yesterday. They're accused of killing Tony Tomaselli in 2015. Police say that Linda told a lover that she and her sister killed their father. That man recorded the conversation on his phone.
Linda tried to suffocate him by placing a pillow over his face, and when that didn't work, Linda took a rag and stuffed the rag down his throat.
And Dad. Both these sisters have been charged with first-degree murder.
A Charlotte High School basketball player is benched after school officials say that he used a racial slur on social media ahead of a playoff game. Coaches at Ardrey High School say that the Snapchat post was directed at West Charlotte High. The unidentified player's parents say that he is, quote, ashamed and deeply sorrowful, end quote. West Charlotte defeated Ardrey last night.
It has been almost 5 months since a man opened fire inside of a synagogue in Pittsburgh. 11 people were killed that day. Since then, people have been donating to a compassion fund. Aaron Martin explains exactly where that money will go.
The last 4 months have been about healing for an entire community, particularly for those directly impacted by the Tree of Life synagogue tragedy.
We lost 3 members of our congregation.
New Light, Dor Hadash, and Tree of Life all lost members in the shooting. In the days and weeks that followed, donations poured in from around the world to the Victims of Terror Fund. In all, $6.3 million was donated, and today we learned where that money will go.
The obvious victims are the people who were killed or wounded, but it's clear they're not the only victims.
An independent committee was created by the Jewish Federation to decide how the money would be distributed. $4.3 million is going to the victims' families for those who were killed or seriously injured. Another $436,000 will go to the congregants who were trapped inside the synagogue, and $48,000 to people on the grounds when the shooting happened. $500,000 was also set aside for the police officers who were injured.
First responders ran towards danger to save Jews. That, I don't want to say it's the first time in history, but it's a very poignant moment in history.
How do you say thank you? How do you say I'm sorry? Now we need to sit down and try to figure out how that applies to our very tiny little plot of money.
19 people are hurt after a school bus collides with a garbage truck. This happened in Indiana, not too far from Cincinnati, Ohio this morning. A spokesperson for the garbage company said that their driver was outside the truck helping a customer when the bus slammed into the vehicle. Authorities say 19 children, the school bus driver and the garbage truck driver were all hurt. At this hour, we're still waiting to find out the extent of their injuries.
Startling cell phone video shows a man asleep at the wheel. His car was on autopilot on a busy highway in Los Angeles. Seth Blake was driving from Anaheim to LA when he spotted what looked like the same Tesla and the same driver. Not something he was expected to see. He posted on Twitter, and this video went viral.
I noticed the guy was kind of like slouched way back in his chair, and I was like, is that guy asleep? And I kind of pull up next to him, and he was asleep, so I asked my fiance, I said, take a video of that. That guy's sleeping.
Tesla declined to comment on this video, but according to the company, autopilot is intended for use only with a fully attentive driver who has their hands on the wheel and is prepared to take over at any time. In Colorado, a firefighter is still saving lives even after taking his last breath. A procession of fellow firefighters and medical personnel escorted firefighter Cody Mooney down a hallway on Saturday. As a final act of service, He donated his organs when he passed away after losing his fight against an aggressive brain tumor. He was just 31 years old, and he leaves behind his wife, who is expecting their 5th child in just a few weeks. A moving moment there. In the Triad, here's a live look at traffic on Highway 52 near Akron Drive in Winston-Salem. Things are moving along smoothly, certainly no issues for drivers in this part of the Piedmont.
Still ahead, why this Apple Watch is responsible for helping a woman detect a potentially serious heart issue.
Another day, another viral internet challenge. Why these vans appear to have cat-like reflexes. We bring you breaking news right now from Chicago. R&B singer R. Kelly has been arrested again. He's at a hearing right now over unpaid child support. Here's a live look at that hearing. Just 10 days ago, he was released on bail. That instance, he was charged with 10 counts of sexual assault involving 4 women. 3 of them are minors. In his first on-camera interview today, Kelly denies those abuse claims.
Technology can, of course, help us lead a healthier life, and that couldn't be more true for one North Texas woman.
Bianca Castro explains how a woman's Apple Watch helped detect a potentially serious heart condition.
And we're going to do dance, and it's going to start. I am ready. Oh my God!
At 75 years old, Liz Turner keeps up with the latest moves. And the latest tech trends.
I got one because my grandchildren had one. I thought it was cool that you could read, get your text messages and talk on the phone. It was like Dick Tracy, you know, way back in the day.
Liz also tracks her heart rate, and during her recent workout felt something wasn't right.
I felt my heart coming out of my chest. It felt like it was just racing.
Her watch tracked her heart rate at 181, her normal max heart rate 140.
It would have blown out of my chest if I'd gone any further.
So to make sure it wasn't a fluke, she used Apple's ECG app over the next few days, each time she felt her heart beating irregularly. Electrodes inside the Apple Watch can record a heart's rhythm and generate an electrocardiogram waveform in 30 seconds. She uploaded the data to her phone and then to her doctor, who immediately sent her to Baylor Heart Hospital in Dallas.
The next step that we would do is to say, okay, well, why don't you wear a monitor to actually capture what that rhythm strip is? But because her newer watch already had that feature built into it, then we were able to get the diagnosis that much faster.
Dr. Praveen Rao says Liz suffered from atrial fibrillation, an irregular rhythm of the heart. AFib is the leading cause of blood clots and stroke if it's not caught early. But Dr. Rao says the latest generation of wearables is helping doctors catch it early and more often.
I think the prevalence is just really growing, and now that we're recognizing it more too, I think we're capturing things that we didn't know of before.
Liz chose to undergo a 2-hour-long ablation procedure to isolate parts of the heart so that it stays in a normal rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
1 week later, she was back on her feet.
I think it's amazing.
And back at the gym.
I love to dance. This is great.
Tracking her steps and her heart with a simple flip of the wrist.
Let's go, go, go.
Well, check this out. A heavy storm put on a bright but potentially very dangerous show for people living in South California. Lightning strikes illuminated the skies in Santa Barbara last night. It looks like there is a lot of activity out there. Gorgeous view, but definitely can be dangerous if you're not in the right place when this strikes.
Absolutely. And speaking of danger, we've been talking to you about it for weather preparedness a week. There's several drills today.
I heard one at 9:30 on the radio.
Yep. And a lot of people got out and started to prepare for that. Many schools in place for that. Let's check in now with meteorologist Michelle Kennedy for